guys, welcome to my channel. I'm All Things Wrestling, and today I'm going to be giving my comments, opinions and the results of TNA Impact Wrestling 19th of January 2017. I know it's probably not the right name, but that's what the TNA app says the name of the show is, so that's what we're going to go with this week. Anyway, we start with match 1, which is the race for the case, which is basically like Feast or Fired, but there's no firing involved. That was quite interesting when they did that. Anyway, it's Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Eli Drake, Crazy Steve, Trevor Lee, Shearer, Tyrus, Jesse Goddard's, Bram, Eddie Hinton, Andrew Everett, and Mike Bennett. Notice there's no Abyss there. I swear they mentioned that he was there, but whatever. Obviously, you get numbers 1 to 4, 1 being the best, and you get to pick which matches you want at Open Fight Night in 2 weeks. So you want number 1, not number 4. The first briefcase was taken down when Tyrus cleared a bunch of people out so Drake can climb the pole and grab the red briefcase. Drake left because he won, and then Tyrus went with him. So 1 gone, and then the second one went when Trevor Lee goes up and grabs the blue briefcase and then wipes everybody out with a dive on his way to the back. Then the third briefcase, Jesse goes for the gold briefcase, grabs it just as Kingston low blows Jesse, and Jesse drops the case right into Bram's hand, so the DTC win it, and they're out of there with the gold. And the Hardys work Jesse over in the ring, and Brother Neves goes and grabs the last case, which was the green one. So yeah, it was an overall pretty good match. What you were expecting, just guys going for briefcases, a few good spots. I enjoyed it overall, to be fair. Obviously we get to know the numbers later tonight, which is good because wouldn't want to have to wait a whole week, because I believe it's Genesis next week, and the week after is Open Fight Night, so Impact's got a lot of good stuff going on right now. I remember the days when Genesis was the pay-per-view. Then we see Drew Galloway's debut, because they're promoting the Moose Drew Galloway, so you get to see both of their. So you get to see Galloway's debut and Moose's debut. He was saving the Wolves from an attack from the hands of Beatdown Clan, which includes Samoa Joe. So how they got away with putting that in the footage, I do not know. Obviously, we got to see Moose's debut when he did something I can't remember because it's not in the notes. We see him backstage, and he said there's a lot of change while he's been gone, and most of it good. There's one problem: the Grand Championship. It's not Moose, he's great, but everything that happened since Bound for Glory doesn't count because it was designed for him. He beat the world champion on his way to the finals, but he got hurt, and he wants to make the Grand Championship the #1 title in the world. It was a great promo from Drew Galloway, who is great, to be fair. Watch him in WCPW, he's great. But yeah, great promo. Bobby Lashley is backstage, and he says his match with EC3 worked out pretty well for him. He's going out to the ring right now. He has a proposition for Eddie. We see Bobby Lashley in the ring, and he said EC3 is out of the picture, so nothing's going to stop him from getting the TNA World title back. Not TNA, not Davey Richards. Now that he did what he had to do, he wants Eddie Edwards to come out and see him right now. Eddie then gets into the ring and says he doesn't know how, why, or if he's just more punch drunk, but he doesn't know how Lashley got mixed up. He doesn't have to answer to Lashley. He owes Lashley nothing, but he can beat him for the world title. Lashley just knows how much the title means to him, and he knows he wants to take it with this title to the top, and he wants to know how Lashley plans to steal the title from him and the Wolf Nation. Lashley says he's not a fighting champion because a fighting champion doesn't rely on fluke wins, biased officials, and his partner helping him. When Lashley was the champion, he did it by himself, and the fans just like him because he's a feel-good story. Eddie said the movie is over and that his title is his life. Lashley's going to pardon him for stepping in his face, and if Eddie wants to be a fighting champion and not rely on help from anyone, to give him a title shot he earned, and to give it him in a 30-minute Iron Man match. That way Lashley's going to beat Eddie over and over and over again. Eddie said that Lashley wants a 30-man Iron Man match. He's got it, because that gives him 30 more minutes to prove once and for all that Lashley is now and it will always be nothing but Eddie's bitch. Lashley responds by sucker punching the champion, beating the crap out of him. Then eyeing him across the ring for a spear. Davey Richards runs out with a chair, chases Lashley off, then goes to check on Eddie. He picks up the belt and holds it for half a second too long when Eddie goes to take it back. A lot of tension going between them two, which is really nice. Like I said, a Davey Richards Eddie Edwards feud would be amazing, and they look like they're going to do that, so I can't wait to see that. The overall promo was great. Lashley's really good on the mic compared to how he used to be, and Eddie Edwards is always entertaining. I'm going to be honest, I like that kid. So yeah, I enjoyed the promo, and I can't wait to see that 30-man Iron Man match next week at Genesis. Then we see Maria backstage on her cell phone and tells Braxton Sutter she has something very important to talk to him about when he gets there, and he better call her back when she calls him from now on. Then Maria finds Brooke and then gets snippy with her, but Brooke says she knows all about Maria and how she runs her mouth and never backs it up. She wants Maria to stay out of her business and let her do her thing. Another great promo, to be fair. Brooke is quite entertaining, and Maria is just a snobby person, which is really good. I like that character of hers. Then we have a match between Brooke and Perez. Brooke is only just going by Brooke now. When she enters, it didn't say Tessmacher, which I'm very surprised about. So she looks like she's just going with Brooke for now. Brooke catches Perez with a series of running clothesline, and then a backbreaker, and then a flapjack, and then she finishes her off with a facebuster. It was a standard match. I enjoyed it, to be fair. Brooke did look impressive, especially for a woman that's been out of the ring for an entire year. So, it's pretty good. Then Sienna runs in and tries to attack Brooke, but Brooke sees her coming and catches her, but Sienna overpowers her, picks her up by the neck, drops her on the mat, and then lays her out with the silencer. She crouches over Brooke and tells her that Maria says, "Welcome back." Ooh, Maria Brooke feud. That sounds interesting with a bit of Sienna mixed in. That's pretty good, to be fair. I enjoyed that. Then we go to the set of Facts of Life, and Tyrus lets us know that the show is up next with the suitcase reveal, which I can't wait. But before that, we see Maria finding Braxton Sutter backstage and tells him that Ali works for her and she wants Sutter to stop training Ali because it's ruining her life. Sutter says he's a grown-ass man and won't let her boss him around. Maria says she might have something that changes his mind and whispers something into his ear, and he looks surprised. Maria asks him if she made herself clear, and he says crystal clear. Maria says find Lauren and do not keep her waiting, which was an alright promo again. I don't know what she whispered to Braxton, but I'm very intrigued what's going on right now. It's got me buying in. This is the second Impact, and I'm already hooked on their storyline, so good job. Then Tyrus welcomes all the ladies and gentlemen and Jeff Hardy, and then introduces a proud Republican and not a dummy, and called them the other side of the pillar, and then he says this is the reveal of the cases. People get to call their opponent in the stipulations, and no one who comes in later in line can cash in on someone who's already been cashed in on. So all the matches are locked in. An ironclad thing. Drake opens his at number 4, and he looks very unhappy, especially because Tyrus hyped him up so much to be getting number 1. It was very funny, to be fair. Tyrus tells him it's fine and puts the case behind the desk and moves on to the DCC. The DCD do a mime routine where they keep passing the case up and down and not talking. It was pretty funny, actually. I enjoyed it. And then they open the case up to reveal number 2. And then they leave. And then Trevor Lee says he might take Drake's idea for a no DQ title shot, so Tyrus tells him to hurry up and open the case. Lee tries to unlock it, and then he says it's already unlocked, so Lee puts it on the desk, and it's number 3, which means Brother Nero has number 1. He said whoever he chooses to face will fade away and classify themselves as obsolete. Drake is pissed, so Tyrus informs us that this has been the Facts of Life, and that's it for the show. It was a great segment. I think once I saw Drake getting number 4, I kind of gathered that Hardy was going to get number 1. So, predictable that way, but then again, I'm very good at predicting where they're going with something, so it's a blessing and a curse. So, let's move straight on. Then we see Drew Galloway cashing in his Feast or Fire title shot to defeat Matt Hardy for the TNA World title. I can't believe how much Matt Hardy's come from winning that title to now. People hated him and his character was shit, and now look at him. He's one of the best things in wrestling. So good there. Then Braxton finds Ali backstage and dumps her. She says to her that he heaps more on the par by telling her he won't train her anymore either. He walks off and leaves her having a breakdown by herself. Wow, it was brutal, to be fair. I don't know what's going on, but this is definitely an intriguing storyline. Then Rockstar Spud introduced Aaron Rex, who comes out in his naked tights. Robbie comes out with the new theme music and a bunch of tights, and he says it's still a thing with Rex wearing woman's lipstick. Robbie says it's all good because he has Rex's number, and he brings out someone who has Spud's number, Swoggle, or as we know in WWE, Hornswoggle. Yes, he's actually here. That's where the Leprechaun's been hiding, I guess. Then they have a tag team match. I do have to say about Aaron Rex's character, it's weird. The person I got the notes off, I think I got off PW Insider, did say this is what happens when you let your characters have too much freedom and creative control over the stuff. Because to be fair, Aaron Rex is probably the worst thing Damien Sandow has done. Spud sucker punches Swoggle, then unloads with punches and stomps. Rex grabs the mic and tags himself in and says it's time to give everyone what they came to see. And then Swoggle grabs Rex's ankle, so Rex says, Swoggle is touching him. Oh, he's touching me, he's touching me. That bit was quite funny, to be fair. Spud tags back in and tags Swoggle. Swoggle hauls Spud up and hits the GTS. Yes, really, the GTS. A little man hit a GTS on a big man. What the hell? Spud knocks Swoggle out with a gimmick. I don't know. And then brawls to the outside with Robbie, and Rex covers him for the win. It was alright. To be fair, Aaron Rex is a bit of a weird character, so hopefully I'll grow to like him. But for now, it's not getting me. Then we see Drew Galloway's heel turn after Linda eats the car to the third, which led up to Bound for Glory. Then we saw Moose's victory over Aaron Rex for the Grand Championship. Then we see them both backstage walking. Obviously walking towards their match, which is happening in a minute. But yeah, I like these little segments. Then we see the hype package for the next week's Monsters Brawl for the Knockouts Championship between Rosemary and Jade. And then the 30-minute Iron Man match for the world title. So it looks like Genesis will be a stacked card. Then Braxton Sutter's in the garage walking with Laurel, I don't know, Von Ness to his car. She thanked him for the ride and makes him hold the door for her because don't know why, just why not? And then he gets in and pulls away. It was alright again. It's added to the story. Then we have that Grand Championship match. I believe it is 3 rounds and then judge decision for 3 rounds, which I'm kind of gathering because it's the first I've seen of it. The bell rings for round 1. They match power with shoulder blocks. They trade chops. Neither man gets the advantage. And then at the end of the round, Drew calls Moose a son of a bitch, slaps him in the face. They trade shots as the clock winds down to the end of the round. Borash then announced that Drew Galloway wins the first round. Good. Yeah, I think it was 10-9-9 to Moose and then 9-10-10 to Galloway, so he wins by 1 point. Round 2 goes to the floor almost immediately. The trade shots. Drew tries a charge and runs right into a bicycle kick from Moose. And then towards the end of the match, Drew gets the Iron Maiden locked in with 45 seconds left. Moose is fighting back and then gets him to the floor again with like 6 seconds to spare. And then Moose avoids tapping until the bell rings. Borash announced the judge call for the second round for Moose. I don't know where they got that. The announcers even said Galloway won that. I said Galloway won that. Everybody said Galloway won that, but who knows? I guess it's to make it 1-1, but it makes no sense, for the love of God. Then they trade blows in the middle of the ring to start round 3. Drew blocks a game changer Moose hits with a big boot. Galloway responds with his own. And then towards the end of the round, Galloway blocks another game changer. Mule kicks Moose right in the dick. And then Moose goes down. The referee stops the clock to check on Moose. And then gets a point deducted from Galloway from every single judge. Moose makes it to his feet. The referee starts the match. And Galloway immediately hits the Claymore for the win. The winner, a new Grand Champion, Drew Galloway. If you watch my wrestling newsroom, this is a spoiler I couldn't reveal in the newsroom about TNA, because I mentioned Galloway was back, but I knew he won the championship. But he's not under a proper contract. His contract's running out. So why did they put him on him if he's not signed? There you go. There's the news I couldn't tell you. So if you wanted to know that, there you go. At least he managed to win it. It was a great match, to be fair. I did enjoy seeing Galloway even hit the Future Shock DDT, I think, in this match. No, that was a preview package. Sorry, no he didn't. I don't think he did. But yeah, I did enjoy this match. It was overall pretty good Impact, to be fair. I enjoyed everything going on. It's refreshing not to see the corporate WWE stuff for once. That's why I love watching WCPW and Impact now, because it's not the same redundant crap. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like. Subscribe to see more content, and I'll catch you later.